When people talk about the masterpieces of American cinema, The Godfather Times usually dominates the conversation. But quietly, behind the scenes, a completely different story unfolded, one of corporate battles, near firings, and massive risks. Francis Ford Coppola and his cast turned a dismissed gangster script, constant studio interference, and industry skepticism into real cultural influence. Some fought for their roles on the set. Others operated behind closed doors, with Paramount Pictures as their battleground. These were not just actors or directors. They were visionaries, risk-takers, and artists whose impact rewrote the rules of Hollywood. This is the countdown of the 5 greatest risks and rebellious decisions that built the legacy of Time's The Godfather. We begin our countdown with a story that embodies the ultimate creative gamble, a young, relatively unknown director who took a dismissed pulp novel and turned it into a Greek tragedy. Francis Ford Coppola is the architect who fundamentally changed the economics of the gangster film. In 1969, Mario Puzo's novel had sold 10 million copies in a single year, yet Paramount Pictures' internal attitude was entirely dismissive. They saw it as a low-budget, late-night B-movie. Coppola pitched a vision that was radical for its time. He didn't want to make just a mob movie. He wanted to craft an American family epic about power, loyalty, and the cost of ambition. But make no mistake, this was not an easy pitch. Paramount gave him the job with strings attached, demanding minimal control over casting and retaining the final say. His influence comes from his ability to navigate the corporate machine. By treating the source material with prestige rather than exploiting it as cheap thrills, he built an unshakable cinematic foundation. He is the architect, the man who proved that you can elevate a genre by taking it seriously. While Coppola was revolutionizing the film's tone, the next battle was over the faces that would populate it. The studio wanted established names, but Coppola approached the ensemble with the precision of a casting genius. He fought for actors like James Caan as Sonny, Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen, and Diane Keaton as Kay. While many studio executives struggled to see past the bottom line, Coppola understood that the audience didn't just want stars, they wanted authenticity. He focused obsessively on the chemistry and realism of the Corleone family. Every single one of these actors was cast against studio preferences, resulting in career-defining performances. The success of this ensemble is a masterclass in trusting raw talent over bankability. By fighting for Caan, Duvall, and Keaton, Coppola captured the entire value chain of acting prowess. They proved that a film doesn't need traditional leading men to conquer the box office. They are the ensemble, proving that the most profitable move a director can make is trusting the chemistry of the collective. From the supporting cast, we travel to the heart of the film, where a young actor was redefining the cinematic anti-hero. Al Pacino was the studio's ultimate nightmare for the role of Michael Corleone. While executives pushed for established stars like Warren Beatty or Ryan O'Neal, Coppola wanted a virtually unknown kid. Pacino's journey was anything but linear. The studio's response was withering, claiming he couldn't act, was too short, and lacked presence. He was nearly fired multiple times during the actual shoot. After early dailies, executives demanded his replacement. Each time, Coppola fought back, and each time, Pacino survived. His wealth of talent is built on his subtle intensity. Pacino represents the underdog. He used his stage-trained discipline to build a character that anchored the franchise. He is the quiet force who proved that true presence doesn't require shouting. It requires a slow burn that explodes in the third act. Sitting at the number 2 spot is a story of how a supposedly washed-up actor transformed into the most iconic figure in cinema history. Marlon Brando was the undisputed choice for Don Vito Corleone in Coppola's mind, but to Paramount, he was box office poison. Industry insiders called him difficult, unreliable, and worst of all, finished. One executive flatly stated that Brando would not be in the film under any circumstances. Coppola refused to back down. He orchestrated an unofficial screen test, bringing a camera directly to Brando. Brando stuffed cotton balls into his cheeks to appear more jowly, darkened his eyes, slowed his voice to a deliberate rasp, and absent-mindedly stroked a cat. The person on screen was completely unrecognizable. When executives watched the footage, the silence in the room shifted from mockery to awe. They reluctantly agreed to cast him, albeit with minimum pay and strict conditions. Brando's legacy is built on this cultural arbitrage. He knew the value of his craft before the studio did. He is the transformer, proving that true talent never expires. It just waits for the right camera. And finally, at the very top of our list, sits the moment that cemented the film's place in history. The Godfather Times was released on the 15th of March 1972, breaking every domestic box office record and becoming the highest-grossing film ever made at the time. It changed American cinema, proving adult, character-driven stories could be massive blockbusters. But the pinnacle of this defiance wasn't just the box office, it was the Academy Awards. Brando won Best Actor, but refused to accept it. Instead, he sent Native American activist Sakine Littlefeather to the stage to decline the award, protesting Hollywood's treatment of Native Americans and the events at Wounded Knee. The audience booed. The industry was stunned. It was as defiant as the screen test that launched it all. This moment sits at number 1 because it is the ultimate flex of power. Brando and Coppola had walked into the corporate-dominated world of studios, taken their money, made a masterpiece, and then forced the industry to respect their terms and their protests. They represent the kings of cinema, proving that true influence isn't just winning the award, it's having the power to turn it down. From the cotton ball screen tests to the boardrooms of Paramount Pictures, the creators of The Godfather Times prove that artistic spirit is undefeated. They didn't just make a movie, they expanded the boundaries of American cinema, creating space for character-driven epics and defiant performances that launched a new generation of filmmakers.